You entrust your health to a doctor, not a salesperson. So why do you entrust your financial health to a salesperson rather than a proper financial advisor? Hi, I'm Brandon and I'm the business director at Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs realize their full potential. I've been working in the finance and investment industry for almost 2 decades. And one thing in particular that I find in my colleagues in the financial advisory business is they always don't know what they're doing. I'm sorry to say that, but there is a problem. And that is a lack of knowledge, a lack of awareness, and proper way of handling investments. And I go back to actually something I remember as a child. I remember walking into the bank with my parents, and they wanted to put some money in a certificate of deposit, a CD. And the bank said, no, you get minimal interest by putting it into a deposit. Why don't you go talk to our investment person? And I remember sitting there, and I must have been about 10 or 11 years old, and I heard the so-called investment professional say, oh, you can make so much more and save so much by putting your money in this type of product, a variable annuity. And we're going to split it half in stocks, half in bonds, and historically, you'll receive 15%. There was that phrase, historically, you would receive 15%. Wasn't quite a guarantee, but it was misleading. Did he even ask what were their financial constraints? What was their time horizon? What was their expectation in terms of return? No, none of those questions were asked. It was simply put 50% in stocks and 50% in bonds. Did he even mention what stocks or what bonds? Absolutely not. It was a simple solution to sell and gain a commission. And unfortunately, that's something that I've seen throughout my career in small companies, large companies, and in speaking both to family and friends as they've asked me for my advice. I often get angry at just the pure lack of, I don't want to say integrity, but it's knowledge about how to properly invest. And when you entrust your health to a professional, you expect them to give you the best advice possible. And oftentimes, that's not the case. So what are the things that I look for, and I would suggest you do, when entrusting your money to an investment advisor? Well, the first is, what knowledge do they have, right? Is it somebody that just graduated university and saw a job ad and said, oh, I'd like to be a stockbroker, I'm sure there's tons of money, and has no knowledge of the risk-return continuum? What are the different types of assets, tax laws, asset allocation, modern portfolio theory? Or do they actually have a certain level of knowledge that they've attained? For example, are they a charter holder of the CFA or Chartered Financial Analyst designation? Are they a CFP, a Chartered Financial Planner? While not guaranteeing that that person is all-knowing, it is a symbol that they've put in the time and effort to go through a course, to pass exams, and to show that they have knowledge and experience. Just as you would go to a CPA for your taxes, why wouldn't you go to a CFA charter holder or a CFP for your investment advisory? So the first is making sure that your wealth advisor actually understands what they're providing, what they are giving, and they're actually asking the right questions. So that's the next point. Are they asking the right questions? They should be asking things like, well, what is your expected rate of return? What is your risk level? If, for example, tomorrow you woke up and your money was gone, would you be sad? Or would you say, oh, I could wait another 6 months or a year or 2 years or 3 years for it to go back up? What do you want with that money? What is your end objective? Is it to save for retirement? Is it to save for your child's education? Is it to save short term for a luxury vacation you would like to take next spring? All those questions should be asked. And they should walk you through and educate you. So it's the same thing. If you're buying stocks, What stocks are they? Are they large cap stocks, the largest companies in the US? Are they international? Is there a level of diversification? And are they even explaining what diversification means to you? So when they provide you with bond suggestions or fixed income instruments, are they providing you full disclosure? Are they giving you information of what type of bonds they are? What are the risks behind them? What are the coupon rates? What is the dynamics of the fund? Or are they simply making blanket statements saying, oh, bonds are less risky than stocks, which is not necessarily true. Also, what type of instruments are they suggesting that you purchase? Are they the ones that are right for you? And what is the fee schedule behind it? Unfortunately, or fortunately, a lot of financial advisors make their money through commissions. It behooves them for you to increase your purchases and sales to get commissions, or to suggest funds that have high, for example, loads on mutual funds, meaning that you have to pay a certain percentage to them up front when you make the investment. From my experience, those load funds or any expensive funds don't always yield the best benefits, except for the financial advisor's bank account. So I think you first need to understand why they're suggesting certain investments. Is it because truly it's the best one possible, that they've done their research, that they've reviewed each item that they're suggesting? Or were they given a piece of paper from headquarters saying, push these, which oftentimes is the case? Are the fees beneficial to you? If you have to pay 5% of your investment upfront as a commission, that means you're already down 5%. You got to make that up very quickly to start at zero. And there are a lot of investments that have very little fees, maybe even 10 basis points, which is 0.1%. So again, look at what they're telling you. Are they providing you information? Are they educating you? And are they giving you assets that are proper for you and not proper for them? So when you speak to them, ask these questions. Ask as many questions as you can and test them. Find out if they have the knowledge, if they're really trying to understand your objectives, what you are trying to achieve. And are they giving you advice that you don't want to hear? And I'll give you an example from my own career. We had an entrepreneur that worked with us at one of my past employers. And this individual, was willing to take on risk. So we suggested a diversified portfolio of different asset classes, 80% on stocks, 20% on bonds, and within that stratification. So we had large cap stocks, small cap US stocks, international emerging markets, a full asset allocation, and the same on bonds. And we did pretty well. The client got a good rate of return, and he said, you know what? I don't want to stick with bonds. I want to go full on stocks. We said, you know what? That isn't the best decision in our view. Yes, stocks are doing well today, but what about tomorrow? So we did the analysis and said, based upon what these different asset classes have done in the past, how they've performed, we do have to do some analysis, and there is a level of volatility that you could encounter. So yes, you could earn 20 or 25% by going full on stocks, but also you could lose 40%. So we don't suggest you go fully in that way. We can change some of the asset classes, we can move them around, but we suggest maybe going maximum 90-10. And we advise you to stay away from that. The investor decided to go 100%. Well, that was unfortunately right before a recession. And it ultimately was the decision of the investor. But we provided them the information. We gave him all the knowledge to be able to make a decision, and ultimately the power was with his. But we advised against that strategy. So when you want to do something like that, is your advisor giving you that information, providing you even the emotional side of the decision, saying, yeah, you could make 30 or 40% on this, and the fund has done that well, or this investment strategy has done that well. But are they also telling you the downside? Because that's where the true knowledge lies, is can you accept that downside as much as that upside? So ultimately, coming back to my original example, was it right for my parents to invest? Probably not in the way that it was suggested. Did it behoove the bank? It absolutely did. Could they have found a way to do it better? Yes. And that's what I suggest to you. When you entrust your financial health, make sure you have a proper professional that's asking the right questions, that's providing you information, that's giving you the right products at the right prices, and ultimately is aligned with your goals to ensure your success. And I wish you luck in finding the right investment professional, the right investments, and a bright financial future.